Our story for reading today is My Didima Wears a Sari, and it's by Kashmira Sheth, and it's illustrated by Yoshiko Jagai. And before we get started, I just wanted to think about what you call your grandma. Because I know some people call them grandma, some people call them granny or Grammy or nanny, or even Mimi. I've heard lots of people with lots of different names for grandma. And in this story, this little girl calls her grandma Dadima. Dadima is the Indian word, which from India, the Indian word for grandma. And sari is this outfit that she's wearing here. That's what they're talking about there with sari. So what we're going to read today is realistic fiction, which means that the people in the story seem real, the places either are real or seem real. And the story is about things that didn't really happen, but they could really happen. And I want you to think as you're reading that, as I'm reading this to you, why is it important to learn about your culture? That's our essential question. We're going to be using the comprehension strategies, making connections, and predicting and confirming predictions. And remember that when you make connections, readers better understand what they're reading because they can make connections between their own experiences to the events that are happening in the story. And also predicting and confirming predictions helps a reader understand what they're reading by anticipating what's going to happen next in the story. And when you predict something, it's based on your experience as well as information you've already heard in the story. So you're kind of interacting with the text to see if your prediction's confirmed too. So let's go ahead and start to read My Didima Wears a Sari. Every day, my Didima wears saris as bright and beautiful as a bouquet of wildflowers. Now, when I read this part, I'm going to make a connection here. I think about my friend who likes to wear really bright colors, and she chooses bright colors because they make her feel happy. And I wonder if Didima chooses bright colors because they make her happy too. She wears them in the morning, she wears them in the evening, she wears them around the house. She wears them around the town. I'm going to make another connection here because this part also reminds me of my friend that wears bright colors because she wears those bright colors during the day and at night. She wears them at home and when she goes out. So I think all of her clothes must be brightly colored. She wears them made out of cotton. She wears them made out of silk. Sometimes she tucks the pallu, the end of her sari, tightly. And sometimes she lets it dance in the breeze. Your saris are beautiful, Didima, I said one day, but don't you get tired of wearing them? Never, Rupa, Didima says. Don't you ever want to wear a gray skirt and a red blouse with round buttons like Mommy does? I ask. Or a green dress like me? I never do, Didima says. Why not, I want to know. Because a sari is a sari, and I can do so much with it, she says. What can you do with the sari? I ask. Now, this might be a good time to stop and make a prediction. As I read this part of the story about how much Didima can do with her sari, I kind of wonder what that might be. Now, I'm going to predict that she uses the sari like a blanket because she seems to be kind of folding it like a blanket in that illustration. Do you have any predictions about what she might do with her sari? Let's read on and see if my prediction and your predictions are correct. Suppose you and I are sitting out on the porch and it gets hot, Didima says. Then we can keep cool. She begins to fan the two of us with the end of her sari. Oh, I say, that's nice. If we go to the beach and collect seashells, we can wrap the shells in my sari, Didima says. Like this, I ask her. I make a pouch with the end of her sari. Yes, Didima answers. What else? I ask. Suppose we go for a walk and it begins to sprinkle, Didima says. I can make an umbrella. And right then she covers both our heads with her sari. I like the feel of it, light and cool as the breeze. Well, now this would be a good time to go back and think about my prediction. I predicted she was going to use it like a blanket, but so far she's used it like a fan to collect seashells and as an umbrella. So my prediction isn't confirmed yet. What about yours? Did your prediction get confirmed? I know what else we can do with your sorry Didima, I tell her. What else? She asks. Imagine we are in the Jeer jungle, I say. She closes her eyes and puts her hands over them. I see the deep, dark jungle, she says. When we go in the jungle, you have to make sure to wear your leopard print sari, I say. Then you can wrap me in it too, so no animal will attack us. I will wrap you up, Didima promises. And if we are caught in a storm and all we can find is some muddy water, we can strain it through your palu. I go on. Then we will have clean water to drink. I suppose so, Didima says, wrinkling her nose. She doesn't like that idea very much. If I slip and scrape my knee in the jungle, you can tear away a piece from your sari and tie a bandage on me, I say. I sure can, Didima says. And if you forget to hug me, Didima, I can tie a knot in your sari to remind you, I say. Just then my little sister Niha comes to find me. Rupa, Rupa, where are you? She calls. I decide to play a game with Niha. Quickly, I cover myself with Didima's sari. While I am hiding under there, I make a secret knot in the corner of her palu. That way, Didima will remember to give me a hug. All right, this is probably a good time to stop and make a prediction. All right, so Rupa has made some suggestions for how she would use Didima's sari. She thinks that they can wrap themselves up in a jungle so the animals won't get them, or to strain water through it to clean the water, and to use it as a bandage. So my prediction wasn't confirmed. They don't even mention a blanket at all. I found you, Rupa, Niha says. My turn to hide. I come out and Niha hides under the palu. Niha pokes her head out. When I grow up, will you make me a sari? She asks. You and Rupa can wear my saris, Didima says. But they won't fit, Niha says. She looks sad. A sari can fit anyone, Didima tells her. Come with me. Didima takes out a bright yellow sari from her closet. Unfold this, she says. Niha and I unfold and unfold and unfold some more. But this is just a lot of cloth, I say, shaking my head. That's right, Didima says, a sari is a long piece of material that you wrap around yourself in a special way. Can you show us more saris, I ask. More saris, Niha squeals. Didima takes out many saris. Some are soft and some are stiff. Some are bright and some are light. Some are fancy and some are plain. Which one is your favorite, Didima? I ask. I like all of them, Didima says, but I have 3 special saris. Okay, maybe this is another time to predict. And I read this part about Didima's 3 special saris. I wonder what they might be. If I think about it, I'm going to predict that maybe one is like her wedding dress, since those are very special dresses for lots of people. What do you predict her 3 special saris are? Dodima takes out a pale yellow sari with rainbow-colored polka dots. This one is a half sari. It is special because it was my first sari, she tells us. Next, she picks up a pink sari as soft as Niha's cheeks. I wore this sari on the plane when I came from India to America, she says. Then Dodima shows Niha and me a sari that shimmers. It is red with a palu stitched in gold. This is my wedding sari, she whispers. Okay, now I can check my prediction. I was right. One of the saris that she thinks is the most special out of the 3 is the one that she wore on her wedding day. It is so beautiful, I say. It is indeed, Dodima agrees. Can you show us how to wrap a sari, I ask. I want sari, Niha says, tugging at Dodima's palu. Dodima puts the sari with the polka dots on Niha and the soft pink one on me. My 2 favorite saris For my 2 granddaughters, Danima says. Her smile fills her face like a big round moon fills the sky. Dressed in our saris, all 3 of us stand in front of the mirror. Dadima draws her sari over her head, making a snug frame around her face. Niha and I do the same. Our eyes twinkle in the mirror like the golden threads in Dadima's wedding palu. We look like you, Dadima, I say. Now, here's a good time to make a connection. This point where the girls think that they look like their Dadima when they dress up in the bright colors. Well, sometimes people say that I look like my grandmother or I look like my mother. Does that ever happen to you? Someone says that you look like someone in your family? Yes, she says, taking Niha and me in her arms. Very much so. I hug Dadima back. Then I untie the secret knot I made in her sari. She can untie it now because Dadima remembered to hug her. Now let's talk about our vocabulary words that are in the story. There's quite a few, and we were supposed to read this story for 2 days, but since we had a snow day, we can only read it once, so we have to do all of our vocabulary today. Now, the first one is the word suppose. It says, suppose you and I are sitting on the porch and it gets hot.
Suppose. To imagine an event or a situation. I suppose it might be fun to play.
All right, so suppose means to imagine an event or a situation. So they are imagining they're sitting out on the porch and it gets hot. The next one is the word collect. If we go to the beach and collect seashells.
Collect. To gather in a bunch. He likes to collect cards. He has many cards.
Okay, so to collect something means you gather them in a bunch. They are collecting seashells. They are gathering them in a bunch. Let's try the word wrap. We can wrap the shells in my sari. All right, so to fold or wind around as a covering. They're going to cover up the shells with the sari. So let's go ahead and go to our next vocabulary word. We'll have to turn a couple pages here. There it is. It's the word strain. We can strain it through the palu. Now they're talking about the muddy water that they want to make clean. So they're going to strain the muddy water through her palu so that they have clean water to drink.
Strain. To pour liquid through a thin cloth or mesh. I strain the broth. Strain.
All right, so to strain means to pour it through a thin cloth or a mesh. So when you make pasta at home, you have to put it in the strainer to get all the water off of it so that you have your pasta. So she's talking about pouring water through that cloth and straining out all the mud from the water. All right, let's find our next one. There it is. Some are fancy and some are plain. Let's see what it means by it to be plain.
Plain. Common or ordinary. Not special. Their shirt is plain. It is all one color.
All right, so plain means common or ordinary. It's not special in any particular way. It's not decorated up. Some are fancy and some are plain. They're talking about her different kinds of saris that she has. Now we have one more vocabulary word before we go. There it is. It's the word mirror. Dressed in our saris, all 3 of us stand in front of the mirror. And I bet you know what a mirror is.
Mirror. A smooth surface that shows the image of the person or thing in front of it. Morgan looks in the mirror. She sees that she got her teeth clean.
All right, so mirror is a smooth surface that shows the image of the person or thing in front of it. And I'm sure you all have a mirror in your house at home that you use probably in the bathroom when you're brushing your hair and brushing your teeth. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Great job listening. I know it was a little long.